The question is that this bill be now read a second time. I call the member for Fraser.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. We all come to this place to make a difference, to leave a mark, but by being here we've made a contribution to a better future. A better future for our children, communities, constituents and this country. And that's why I'm speaking in support of this bill. This bill is part of the passion and purpose this government has to provide a better future for our nation through providing our children with a quality education for the next century. An education that prepares children for a life where they have the skills to adapt to the jobs of tomorrow and the building blocks of lifelong learning. Consider, for example, the job of a mechanic. As one OECD official put it, in 1930, all the coded information for a General Motors car could be captured in 230 pages. Now a single car involves some 15,000 pages of coded knowledge, which workers will need to be able to access, manage, integrate and evaluate. As electric cars replace petrol ones and self-drive cars replace the ones we have today, the job of a mechanic is going to steadily change. So that's why we need to provide learning opportunities and lifelong skills through an education system that gives all Australian children the same grounding to embark on a future that we can only imagine on its edges. The Australian curriculum is a big step towards such an education system. The Schools Assistance Amendment Bill repeals the current implementation date.
The member for Groom is seeking the call.
Surprise
me. Go on.
This is an outrage.
He started at elbow. Madam Deputy Speaker, I draw your attention to the state of the House.
Is a quorum required? Ring the bell until quorum is present. Oh, sorry, it was an attendant. I'm getting cross at people leaving. Don't even think about it.
At least you get let me guess, we're on the first page.
I think you're just warming up. I like that.
No, not you. But I'm telling you, so you pass the message back that your people will suffer. Because your people have all the emotions on. Well, mate, they won't get it back on. So, no way, mate.
You should tell them Mitchell is never call anymore in court.
We keep trying. We don't. It doesn't help anybody. And doesn't help you, right?
You're not even thinking about it.
Why do you hate firms? Why don't you support democracy in firms? That's what you're shutting down. Come on, mate.
Twenty-six, 27. Eight. 29. 29, 30. Quorum present. Could everybody please leave the chamber quickly and quietly? The member for Fraser has the call.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. When I visit schools in my electorate of Fraser, I'm always inspired by the passion the children have for the future, their enthusiasm, energy, imagination, ideas. And of course, I'd like to pay tribute to the dedication and passion of the teachers who nurture and support those aspirations and goals of the students. Our schools are the places that teach creativity, instil a love of learning and impart critical skills such as literacy and numeracy that form the foundations of our future productivity and our prosperity. Under the Australian curriculum, all Australian children will be studying the same curriculum in the 4 key subjects of English, mathematics, science and history. Key areas that will provide our children with the confidence and the skills they need for a great education and a national curriculum. Developments for a national curriculum in geography, languages and the arts are also underway. As part of the curriculum reforms, parents and teachers will be able to go to the Australian curriculum website and view what teachers are expected to teach and the quality of learning expected of students in the 4 learning areas. Here in the ACT, government and non-government schools have already commenced the implementation of the curriculum this year. I'm pleased to say that schools in my electorate are among the first in the country to start teaching the Australian curriculum. Most other states and territories are using this year to prepare and trial the curriculum before commencing its implementation next year. Teachers are using the time to familiarise themselves with the curriculum and to prepare their teaching programs. In Western Australia, schools are trialling the curriculum with a view to commencing implementation once final adjustments are made. In both Queensland and Tasmania, schools in the government, independent and Catholic sectors will introduce the English, mathematics and science curricula next year, with history to start in 2013. By amending the Schools Assistance Act 2008, the implementation of the national curriculum will be able to be undertaken by states and territories in a manner that enables government and non-government schools to coordinate this according to an agreed time frame. Under the National Education Agreement, states and territories have agreed to use resources for the professional support of teachers linked to the curriculum. We're providing support through the National Digital Resource Collection. Managed by Education Services Australia, schools and teachers will have access to over 5,000 resources aligned with the Australian curriculum, with more to follow. The Australian Institute for Teaching and School Leadership is to deliver to professional development through its leading curriculum change, professional learning flagship program, which aims to build the capacity of teachers to enhance implementation of the curriculum. And the government's also got a major schools reform agenda, a digital strategy for teachers and school leaders, an improving teacher quality national partnership, a national partnership agreement on literacy and numeracy, and a major national partnership for school reform in up to 1,500 low socioeconomic status schools across the country. The last of these, Deputy Speaker, is a reform that I'm particularly familiar with, having been seconded to the Australian Treasury in 2008-2009 to work in part on this national partnership. And I'd like to use this opportunity, with your indulgence, Deputy Speaker, to pay tribute to the dedicated Treasury officials in the Social Policy Division. These and the Australian curricula form part of the record investment of $66 billion in education over 4 years. Investment that every parent, every teacher, every member of the school community will have seen on the ground as they visited Australian schools. We on this side of the House take education seriously. We know that a great education is critical to raising productivity and living standards, that by boosting the quality and the quantity of education, we can increase innovation in the economy, provide the skills and do the jobs of the future. And we're committed to this reform agenda, which is based on Labor values: fairness, quality, accountability, transparency. But, Deputy Speaker, we have to compare this to the actions of those opposite. They want to cut $3 billion from our education system. And of course, that still doesn't help them with their $70 billion budget black hole. They don't have an alternative plan for education. They want to cut, they want to cut trade training centres. They want to reduce funding for improving teacher quality. They want to scrap online tools for parents. They're against My School 2.0, which provides an unprecedented level of transparency and information to Australia's parents. Without a vision for education, Deputy Speaker, you don't have a vision for the nation's future. Standing in the way of the digital education revolution denies thousands of children access to new technology, to the tools of the future. Without the Smarter Schools program, disadvantaged students miss out on support to improve their attendance and boost their learning once they arrive at school. Without a reward for school improvement program, we won't see schools in disadvantaged communities get the recognition and rewards from continuing to improve their school and their education.
The honourable member will resume his seat. The honourable member for Aston.
Deputy Speaker, on relevance, this bill concerns the national curriculum, not coalition policies on a variety of other areas.
The member will resume his seat. I call the honourable member for Fraser.
And what about the online diagnostic tool for parents and teachers? Under the coalition, schools would not benefit from the additional information and resources parents and teachers are now able to access. It's clear the coalition does not and will not stick up for students or schools. Bereft of ideas, of passion, and seemingly bereft of the desire of wanting to provide the best possible start to life for all the young Australians through education. But it's exactly this kind of hard work of education reform that we on this side of the House got into politics to achieve. Education is the best anti-poverty vaccine we have. It provides the foundations from which Australians can build a life of their choosing. Education means that a child from Ilfracombe can become the first female member of the Queensland Bar and our first female Governor-General. The Schools Assistance Amendment Bill brings Catholic and independent schools in line with government schools so that all schools will have the same curriculum and the same curriculum implementation timetable. It provides certainty to non-government schools and treats all schools the same. The proposed amendment allows for a more certain legal framework for the non-government sector to implement the Australian curriculum and allow future additions and revisions of the curriculum to be made more efficiently each time it's updated. The government recognises and respects the role of the non-government schools as part of a great education system, of partners in our children and our nation's future. I've had the privilege to visit many of these non-government schools and government schools in my own electorate and seen with my own eyes the great education reforms that are happening there and the great contribution that the Gillard Government school agenda is making. The Australian curriculum will deliver a national standard to all Australian children in English, mathematics, science and history, and making sure we successfully implement it is absolutely critical. Deputy Speaker, at the start of this speech I talked about the need for our education system to prepare children for a life where they have the skills to adapt to the jobs of tomorrow, where they have the building blocks of lifelong learning. The amendment to the Schools Assistance Act 2008 is an important step towards this preparation, but providing greater certainty and alignment for all schools in the implementation of a national curriculum in key learning areas. The quality of our education system is our future. Studies have shown that countries with higher maths and science scores grow faster, innovate more and have stronger economies. This government takes educational opportunity seriously and we take reform seriously. We want every young Australian to have the chance to fulfil their potential to be able to meet the demands of a labour market that will change as much in the next 50 years as it has over the last 50 years. I commend the bill to the House.